Hello, travelers. Welcome to Reach the World. For over 20 years, Reach the World has used virtual exchange to inspire youth to become curious, confident, and compassionate global citizens. My name is Tim, and I'm glad you're joining us for today's Meet the World live stream event. The Meet the World program builds positive, personal connections between students in the US and global cultures, all through direct interactions with real people who are excited to share their countries and cultures with you. For a complete listing of upcoming Meet the World live stream events, you can visit athome.reachtheworld.org. Today, we're traveling to Morocco with Fulbright foreign language teaching assistant Yassine Benabou. Yassine is from Tangier, Morocco, and he's currently teaching Arabic and teaching students about Morocco at Wesleyan University in Middletown, Connecticut. Yassine is joining us today from Middletown to tell us more about Morocco and Moroccan culture. But before I turn things over to our special guest, I want to welcome the teachers and students who are watching today's Meet the World live stream event. Please feel free to use the YouTube chat bar to let us know you're here, where you're joining from, and of course to share any questions you have for our guest as we go. We'll get to as many questions as we can in the next 30 minutes. All right, it's time to take a journey to Morocco. Yassine, welcome to Reach the World.
Thank you so much, Tim, for having me today. And thank you, everybody, for joining us for this virtual meeting. I'm so excited to be sharing with you some of Moroccan cultural aspects. So today I'll be sharing with you Moroccan architecture. But before we go to our topic today, the Moroccan architecture, I'd just like to try to localize Morocco in the map. So allow me to share my screen first. Okay, so let's localize Morocco in the word map first. So as you can see, Morocco here is in red. So the country or the Kingdom of Morocco is located in the North African region known as Maghreb. So Maghreb is known as in Arabic as the sunset, Maghreb or sunset. So it straddles the Atlantic Ocean to the west, as you can see, and the Mediterranean to the northeast, with a narrow 8 miles wide corridor between Morocco, especially Tangier, and the tip of Spain known as the Strait of Gibraltar. It is bordered by Algeria to the east, and as you can see here, so the country is good when you have Morocco and you have the US here. So if people come in from the US to Morocco, so there are direct flights to Morocco. If you go from Casablanca, which is the largest city in Morocco, so there are direct flights that goes from Casablanca to JFK or to Washington, DC. So as you can see here, so the country is divided into 12 regions, and the capital is Rabat, as you can see here. So Rabat is here and is located along the West Atlantic coast. So the official languages in Morocco are Arabic and Tamazight or Berber. On the left right here, you can see the Moroccan flag. So you can see two colors. We have red and green. So the red background represents hardness, bravery, strength, and valor. And while the green represents love, joy, wisdom, peace, and hope, it also represents the color of Islam, and the pentagram represents the seal of Solomon. So the 5 branches also represents the 5 pillars of Islam. Yeah, and you can see here, this is a picture of from where is that, which is like an old city in Morocco. And here in the city where mosques are famous films were filmed here. Yeah. So this is our topic today, Moroccan architecture. And so Moroccan architecture was influenced by Islamic tradition, African tribes, in addition to European colonization, also the Roman and the Ottomans. So as you can see here, so we have this picture of Walili, these are remains from the Romans. And you can see it now. Now a lot of tourists go to that place to visit it and see the architecture of the Romans. And also, if you go to old cities, you can notice and you can touch like the architecture of colonization and Islamic tradition, especially in mosques and stuff like that. So the Islamic architecture elaborates geometric patterns, ornamental Islamic calligraphy, and colorful zilij, as you can see here, an open courtyard with gardens. So if you go to every mosque in Morocco, you will find this kind of things. And the mosque that you can see here is Hassan II Mosque in Casablanca, which is the largest city in Morocco. And this mosque is considered as the second largest mosque after the mosque in Mecca in Saudi Arabia. So a lot of tourists come here, they enjoy a lot the architecture, design, calligraphy. You find it inside the mosque written with colorful things, yeah, and just fascinating. Also, also Moroccan architecture is influenced by Hispanic-Moorish architecture. So as you can see here, we have sharp white walls, large domes, and stucco roofs among arcs. So you will find these on a lot of cities in Morocco. So architecture components, so I'll go through some architecture components in Morocco. We have arcs or horseshoe arc. So these are used in doors, windows, entrances, and niches. And as you can see how beautiful they are. So we have different colors, they are like, when you look at them, you just feel relaxed. Dome, we find them in modern villas and commemorative monuments. And of course, you will find these in a lot of cities like Fez, Rabat, Meknes, and Marrakesh, in addition to Casablanca. Also, one of the other components of architecture are doors. So doors are very decorative, oversized, like in comparison, like in contrast with windows. So there are some carvings on doors, metalworks. Also, the colors are different. These are yellow, green, red, blue, polychrome, white, and strips. So we can some variety of colors. You can find them on doors. Windows are usually small for privacy, and they are used as ventilators for hot weather. So when the weather comes, sometimes it's hot during summer, so people just open it and to breathe some fresh weather. They are less ornamented and arched glass panes, and also they are very unremarkable. So you can see here, they are very nice, and you can find them in almost every old houses, right? So fountains, you can find them in like with gardens, in riads. Also, you can find them in mosques. So they are made of marble or cement, and they are featured in every house. So people build them in the heart of courtyards, living room, or guest rooms. It depends. So, so you will find these fountains in riads or big houses. This is a riad, and they are owned only by rich people. So you have to be rich to own this kind of house. So yeah, so you will enjoy it. And also for tourists, if you go to Morocco in old Medinas, for example, if you go to Fez or Marrakesh, you can visit and you can see this kind of fountains and architecture. Woodwork. yeah, so woodwork, you find doors like this, and they are traditional and urbanized areas, so they serve as the main finishing. We can find them in walls, ceilings, gallery, balcony. And also, if you go, for example, to visit a mosque or visit Riyadh, you will find, different designs made of wood. And this is, it looks just amazing. Plaster used for sculpturing, non-waterproof, and is polished smooth. So people use this. Now, if you go to every house in Morocco, almost every house in Morocco, you will find plaster. So people, it's white. Some people, they keep it white, and some people, they like to decorate, to paint it with different colors, and also it looks good. But the majority of houses, mosques, they include like white. They keep it as white as it is. Also, some materials used in architecture are metalwork. So we can find bronze, copper, iron, and brass. So you can find like these metalwork in studs, doorknobs. You can find them in door and window frames, room partitioners, and also you can find them in mosques, villas. You can find them everywhere in old, places. Ceramics, and this is like ceramics, very famous in Morocco. They are painted and glazed and used for tableware, roof tiling, decorative zellage, tile work, and architectural work. So these ceramics, you can use them for eating, you can use them for decoration, you can give them as gifts to other people. So when tourists come to Morocco, they try to buy these kinds of ceramics as a souvenir. So they're very colorful and, very good to keep as a souvenir in your house. So this is the color palette actually of Morocco. So as you can see, there is orange, brown, blue, yellow, red, olive green, brown, and tan. So people, they play with these colors to extract some kind of, mesmerizing, what to say, some kind of nice pictures, nice design of walls, nice design of anything. So these are like the most important spaces in Morocco are mosques, madrasas, or what we call Quranic places, madrasas, Quranic school, and city gates. So you can find these in many cities like Fez, Meknes, Rabat, and in Marrakesh, Casablanca as well. So I just wanted to go with me to watch a video about these 3 places. So allow me to stop sharing and share again.
The 4 imperial cities of Morocco, Fez, Marrakesh, Meknes, and Rabat, hold an impressive collection of Islamic art and architecture. And today we're going to look at a few of the main structures that you would see on any visit to these cities, the mosque, madrasas, and the city gates. Morocco's mosques have 3 distinctive features. The first is its courtyard-style design. Here, an open-air courtyard gives way to a prayer hall filled with row upon row of horseshoe-shaped arches. The repetition communicates infinity, a symbol of the divine. At each mosque, you will also find a minaret, a square-shaped tower from which the call to prayer is recited. Each side of the minaret has a distinctive design. Another feature that makes Moroccan mosques unique is their orientation. Typically, mosques face Mecca, which is roughly east of most cities in Morocco. Moroccan mosques, however, tend to face south-southeast. The second type of structure you're going to encounter is a madrasa, a religious school. Like many of the buildings in the Medina, it also lacks an external facade, making it difficult to determine what lies beyond its walls. But once you walk inside, you're met with just stunning beauty. There are three types of decoration. You'll see glazed tiles, stucco, and cedarwood. Like many of the mosques, you will also find an open-air courtyard with a fountain in the center. This fountain, with its flowing water and tiles that represent floral patterns, symbolize Quranic paradise. The third type of structure you will encounter is the city gate, which both welcomed visitors and repelled its enemies. The most outstanding feature is its large horseshoe-shaped arch entrance. Interestingly, the inspiration for this horseshoe-shaped arch came from Visigothic churches in Spain and became a standard feature in Moroccan architecture. As you'll see, this arch is framed by a large rectangle, which is called an alfiz, and it is flanked by two square towers. We hope you have a wonderful time exploring the art and architecture of these great cities.
Okay, yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the video, and now we're going to move to the next video. And actually the next video is about building the Moroccan Forts. So actually in 2011, the Metropolitan Museum of Art opened in New York City. And so the new galleries for the arts for the Arab lands, Turkey, Iran, Central Asia, and later South Asia, which housed the museum renowned collection of Islamic arts. So the video that we're going to see today is documented a marvelous journey from Fez, so city in Morocco, old city in Morocco, to New York, and the creation of a 20th century courts using traditional 15th century methods. Okay, so I hope you, because a lot of time we're not going to go through the video, the whole video, but we're going to watch the first 5 minutes of it.
In 2011, the Metropolitan Museum of Art opened new galleries for its Department of Islamic Art. As a curator, I knew our visitors would experience extraordinary works of art created over the last 1400 years. But we also wanted to give our visitors an experience of space and architecture and to show something of the living traditions in the Islamic world. The result is the Patti Capi Birch Court, a Moroccan court built inside the Metropolitan Museum over several months in 2011. It took a team of experts, from curators and historians to designers and craftsmen, of course, to make the Moroccan court, using traditional methods that go back to the 15th century. Our work began with a journey to Fez. The world has changed so much and traditional crafts are dying out very, very fast. But to the credit of the Moroccan government, they've taken this so seriously over the years that they've managed to preserve in fairs and other centers the traditional methods. Being so close to the moment of creation is something that has an incredible power, and it's something that profoundly moves you as a curator. In Fez, there were 40,000 craftsmen. We met with many guilds, many groups, and we did find potential to work with a number of different people. However, when we met the Naji family craftsmen, run by 4 brothers and their father, and then they have several workshops in Fez itself. At one point, Rida picked up Muhammad's hand. He said, "Look, this is my brother's hand." And we looked at that hand, and it was the hand of a craftsman. It was rough and calloused, and it had plaster all over it. He'd been chipping away since the age of 14. It was one of those moments when you just felt this was the right partner for you.
We are 7th generation in this business, but for me and for my family, it's unlike any other project that we ever undertaken, because this will serve as reference for scholars to learn more about the Islamic architecture.
I was employed as an art historian consultant to the project. I suggested having a medieval style courtyard. I have a very personal reaction to cut tile mosaic or zillage. Morocco, North Africa is burning hot for so many months of the year. Visually, it's such a comfort to see blues and greens and cool colors evoking nature and gardens and water. Perhaps it's because I grew up in a courtyard house with traditional decoration. I can remember, walking barefoot on tiles. In the Islamic city context, there is no facade. Houses are all stuck together, the streets are very narrow. The courtyard is the focus. It's in fact the facade, but it's on the inside, and it's very private unless you've got access to it. The Moroccan inspiration for the courtyard is the madrasas of Fez, and they are perhaps the best symbol of the intellectual and cultural life of the medieval Western Islamic world. The madrasa was a residence for students who formed the backbone of the education and political life, which will then serve to maintain the urban civilization as they know it.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to stop here. I hope you enjoyed this first part of the video, and of course you can find it on YouTube. You just need to type on building the Moroccan Forts in New York City, and you can watch the rest of the video. And if you have any questions, I'll be ready and happy to answer them.
Yassine, thank you so much. How interesting to see that connection to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. A lot of Reach the World students live in New York City, and through a subway ride would have access to the Metropolitan Museum. So if students, if you saw some of that video and you've enjoyed meeting Yassine, maybe you can take a field trip to the Met and check out that gallery of Islamic art. It looks fascinating. I have a couple questions for you, and I want to incorporate some of the things that Reach the World students are always really interested in. The first was, I noticed in the map that you shared at the beginning of your presentation, there are a lot of big cities sort of towards the north side of, or the north part of Morocco, and fewer in the southern part of Morocco. Why is that?
Yeah, because because of colonization, it depends. Sometimes there are it depends on the where many people are. For example, in the north of Morocco, there is Tangier, which is it's an old city, but it's not as old as Fez, which is in the center of Morocco. It's Fez, Meknes. So that was the place where Quranic schools, madrasas, mosques. So people were located there a lot. Yeah. So that's the reason why you can find, for example, Fez, Meknes are have many historical stuff.
Okay. You showed us lots of beautiful examples of architecture, and you mentioned this briefly, but I wanted to ask whether beautiful carvings and works of art are common in everyday houses, or if it is mostly reserved to special places.
No, actually, now the people are going back to build houses like these in the past. So now there are modern houses in Morocco, in cities, in different cities, but these historical houses are preserved. The Moroccan government preserved them as a historical heritage, so people, they can go and visit them. And also by rich people now, they still have those kind of houses. They keep them as as a heritage. And also you can find them if you go to imperial cities like Fez, Meknes, Rabat, and Marrakesh, also Casablanca. You can find those kind of houses in old Medina. So you can feel that you can go back in time if you go there.
I liked you mentioned that many of the objects that maybe our audience thinks of as really functional, like door latches and doorknobs, and the things that we use in everyday life are sort of given new life or given special attention in a lot of the examples you showed. You know, even a doorknob is exquisite and beautiful.
Yeah.
It must be. I understand why many people go to Morocco and why there's so much pride in the cultural heritage of Morocco, because it's just seems to be on full display.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's correct. Yeah.
Do you have any favorite places in Morocco that if we got our chance to go to Morocco that we would absolutely have to go and visit?
Yeah, there are a lot of places that you can visit in Morocco, starting from Fez, Meknes, Rabat, Tangier, Marrakesh. A lot of tourists go to Marrakesh and Casablanca. And also if you go to the desert, like Ouarzazate, you know, the desert is just amazing as well in summer. So yeah, so these are like, we have a lot of things to see in these cities. So if you go there, you will just love them, of course.
Well, you have been teaching in the United States in Connecticut for half a year virtually, but most recently the last 6 months in Connecticut. And what are you missing about your home country? What will be one of the first things you do when you return home in a couple weeks?
Yeah, the first thing I miss a lot is food. So Morocco is known for its, delicious food, different plates. You know, if you heard of tagine, couscous, we have different delicious plates. So the first thing that I couldn't resist, and they miss a lot, is food. So the first thing I'm going to do is try to make some delicious Moroccan meals.
That sounds good. What has been your experience in Connecticut for the last 6 months? You're teaching Arabic at Wesleyan, and how are you enjoying your time in the United States?
Yeah, it was actually a great experience, and this is a very calm place where you can enjoy every moment of it. I have been teaching Arabic to Wesleyan students here, and also I organize a culture hour every week. So every week I share one aspect of Moroccan culture. So they have many things. They learned a lot about Moroccan culture if they have the chance to go there. So to have an idea about that. Yeah.
It's probably easier to share bits of Moroccan culture over a 6-month period than a 20-minute period like you're doing right now. But I really appreciate you introducing us to the architecture and the art. I personally find it just beautiful and stunning to look at the geometric shapes and the cut tile, and the beautiful arches is just fantastic. Do you have any sort of basic words in Arabic that you could teach our young students who are watching?
Oh, yes, of course. So the first thing we meet somebody, we say, marhaban. Marhaban. Marhaban means hi, or assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum means, so this is like the formal greeting. Assalamu alaikum. We respond, wa alaikum assalam. Assalamu alaikum, Tim.
Thank you. Yeah, that's great. I'm sorry. Say it one more time. I'll repeat after you.
I say assalamu alaikum, and you respond wa alaikum assalam.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Okay, yeah. Assalamu
That's close enough.
wa alaikum assalam. Or say marhaban.
Marhaban.
Okay, marhaban. That's the easiest way. Okay. Ana, my name is Ana ismi. Yes.
Ana ismi.
And you say your name.
Tim.
Tim. Okay.
Yeah, easy enough.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a great start for students for any country you visit. Learn some words and the local language, and be able to introduce yourself, and that's always a great way to get started. Yassine, this has been so much fun learning bit more about Morocco. Obviously, we are just scratching the surface of such an interesting country and culture, but I really enjoyed the chance to talk to you today and learn more about it. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you also to our entire live stream audience for going on this journey with us. All of the Meet the World live stream events are available as recordings on Reach the World's YouTube channel. And you can visit athome.reachtheworld.org for more information on this year's live stream events. We have 1 or 2 more to go this school year, but we're wrapping up. So check those out. And thank you again, Yassine. We'll see you again next time.
Thank you.